Stay there. Now we're coming to the, look at this. We are not in the AWS yet. Now it's coming to the deployment. Deployment called the hosting. Okay. So application is written by the developer, can be front end, can be the backend developer. We call them developer, we call them engineer. Then they actually, the push to Git. We just learned about the Git, right? So now the DevOps engineer come to the picture. They call the DevOps engineer, they call the system engineer, they call the AWS DevOps engineer or the Azure DevOps engineer. They just have a different name. They call the system engineer. So their goal is where the developer is stopped, they start there. That's what they do. Where developer is stopped and the code is on the Git, DevOps, CloudOps engineer start there. So before this deployment happened, this is the coaching for you, okay? This is the interview session now. In the interview, walk me through the process of the application deployment. This was a tricky question, okay? Walk me through that. So there he's expecting you ask the question, what type of application is it, right? You should, and what is the plan? Like how many users should be there? How many environment we're thinking here, right? He is expecting you should ask all this question to him instead of you are actually reading the book, okay? So the question we ask, tell me the application deployment process in your environment. The way you are supposed to do that, you need to talk to the developer, you know what it is, and you need to talk to your manager, you need to know what is the scope of this application, who is going to be the users. You have to know all of this, means you have to ask the questions, and then you should answer. Now, long story short, in the application deployment, you can separately host them or deploy them, right? There is no, sometimes some company, they build the back end first. Some company, they build the front end first. Some company, they go simultaneously. Some company, actually, they just go how they want, or they just mix and match. But at the end, regardless how you actually develop and build, at the end, both has to work together. Because as you learn, front end is not going to do anything if the back end is not connected. Simple, right? So this front end and back end, they can be on the different computer or different computers, okay? Because if you talk about the 10,000 users or 10 million users, one computer is not going to be enough. So you need to have lots of computers, okay? So you will talk about the way the VPC comes. So first you have to deploy the backend, or you can deploy the front end. But at the end, to workable both component or both tier, we call the tier, front end tier, back end tier, right? They have to be connected. Means they have to, front end need to be able to speak, reach out to the back end, and back end should be able to reach out to the database. So three-way communication has to be accurate. Who does it? DevOps engineer does it, okay? So we are going to do this now. We have a backend code on the Git, and we have a server on the cloud, means EC2. So now we are going to deploy, or we are going to prepare it, and we are going to install it. Yeah, go ahead. You go next now. Okay, good. You did it. So you have done the launch instance. She has covered this. She has covered that. Yep, go ahead. We have covered that as well. We have covered that as well. You can go a little bit back. I want to go a little bit back. Okay, you're fine here. Stay there. So I think she has mentioned that there is a the what is called the. Can you scroll down a little bit? I want to see the wording. Okay, so many things are straightforward. The traffic in the internet, right? In the internet, we use many type of application. Even you use it, you don't know it. Most popular, we use the HTTP. It's a protocol. A protocol is nothing but like a follow certain rules and regulation to perform its work. That's it. So HTTP protocol. For the file, we use the FTP. For the email, we use the email protocol. For the what is called the secure connection to log into the another computer remotely, we call the telnet or SSH. There is a lots of protocol. So each of the protocol is nothing but a network application. They do specific thing. Okay. On this case, in this case, we're doing the two things. One is this server on the cloud somewhere in the world, but we need to use it. AWS require you to go through the security access. Why? So that nobody can access it, just specific people can access it. For this protocol, we are using SSH, secure, what is the name? Shell, right? Secure shell, am I right? SSH?
Yes, secure shell.
Secure shell. So the purpose of this protocol is the user, means the who is accessing the server, nobody can hack it. That's it. So because the HTTP is also secure, but you are using the interface. You are using a browser to reach to the front end server. In this case, this protocol is different. Why? Because this protocol is not the HTTP. It is allowing engineers, I mean the DevOps engineer or developer or whoever want to use the remote server, it is allowing them connect remotely so that the hacker around the world, nobody can hack it. That's the reason she created a private key. A private key is nothing but it is only your computer knows, nobody, and the server knows, nobody else knows. So only public and private key is the mechanism to work between the server and the client. Nobody else can hack it. So we create the private keys and we create the open. Open means it can be used anywhere else. And then of course, traffic means who you are going to allow on this server. Okay, that's we'll be learning more details once in the bootcamp. We cover very extensively, but I thought to just touch base quickly. Okay, you can go next. Okay, we have done it. Okay, stay there. So now it coming to the, you created the virtual server on the cloud platform, AWS or wherever it is. You can access two ways. One is on the AWS, they allow you to access the any of the machine, any of the EC2 on the go, means on the browser. It is not robust. It is not saving anything. It is actually slow. It is not doing so many things. For that reason, there is many dedicated software. Okay, it's called the terminal software. They do for you. Okay, so there in this software is called the MobaXterm. There is a lots of software like this. I'm not selling the MobaXterm. What they do? So MobaXterm does, look at this, SSH, Telnet, RSH. Can you just touch your show as I speak? On the top, SSH, Telnet. So this, the protocol I just mentioned, okay? I am XDMP CP, RDP means remotely you are accessing a graphical interface. BNC, you are accessing graphical interface. FTP, I mentioned, file transfer protocol, means when you need to upload a lot of file to a server, you do not use the HTTP, you are using the FTP. FTP has another version, is called the SFTP, secure one. And then called the serial. Serial means we have a physical server. This server, you can actually, serial device you can connect, and then you can log in. Then you directly connect to the shell. A shell is nothing but an interface that allow you to communicate with the operating system. Then you can browser and so many AWS S3, WSL. This all the protocol. This type of special software allows you means engineers to use to perform their administrative work. When I said administrative, it's administrative work basically. All right. So we just went over. Now come to the basic SSH settings. The remote host, this is actually the IP address. She has been assigned from the AWS. We're going there. And then Ubuntu username, she has been assigned this user by the AWS. And then the port number 22, this is this is also the default port number for SSH protocol. So what is the port number? Username, you know this. Port number is nothing but every network application has a default port number, right? Hey, it's nothing but the extension. Simple, it's nothing but extension. So application, there is the application name SSH, and it has a that number, a default number. It is called the 22. So that's the reason it shows there. So now let's go back to the AWS. Show where the IP address is, so you guys will know. So in the AWS, if you click on your server, the public IP, column number, highlight the public IP. Yeah? So you see this, if you click on your server, you see the public IP and there is a private IP. You always log into the machine remotely using the public IP. And there is a private IP is internal AWS, all your resources. Means if you create hundreds of the servers, they can connect with each other private. Okay, that's the 172. They have needs. In the public one, it is unique for you around the world. Nobody has this public IP. Nobody has it public IP. Only you have it. So it is exactly unique, one piece of public identity that allows engineers or the administrator to access this machine from anywhere else if they are allowed. So that's the reason she will copy this public IP. And yeah, so can you show how to log in from the console quickly? No, from the AWS console, so that we will be good. Then we are not going to use anything here. Yep, connect. So as I mentioned, on the browser, AWS allow you, look at the user by default, because when you create an instance, AWS give you the IP address, and then AWS give you the by default username. Username is to access operating system, you always need the username, this is Ubuntu. You're good? And then you can say the connect. In this case, you're good to go. Okay, let's see what happened. So you will get the terminal is a black screen. The Linux is an operating system. It is actually the built based on the black screen. It has a graphical screen, but the purpose of the Linux is to host application. Linux is not an operating system. Linux distribution is an operating system. In this case, Linux based on the two things. The main Linux is the kernel, which is the heart of the operating system, and the another part of the distribution, which is the operating system, which is your GUI part. So GUI part is called the distribution. She show you that Ubuntu, Fedora, SUSE, Red Hat, all this called the distribution. Under the hood, they took the Linux kernel. Who built this kernel? The guy Linus Torvalds. And then they make the operating system. Some Linux distro is free, some is paid. So we are using the free one. This Ubuntu is free version. It is used by the millions of copies around the world by the millions of companies, basically. So you see this? This is actually the, to become a DevOps engineer, you day in, day out on the Linux operating system. Linux operating system called the black screen, there is no actually the mouse. It means it is fast. It is robust. You don't need to click mouse to do the 5 things in the 5 click. It can do one thing, one click, one typing, it does everything itself. The call is called the terminal, and you see the whole screen. It is the Ubuntu in the beginning at IP address. The IP address has been given to her. Okay, and then colon, tilde, and the $sign. Linux operating system works 2 ways. All the users is a $sign. Root user or the admin or the master user, they call the root, which is the admin. In Linux admin, we do not use the Linux admin. It is prohibited. You always use the regular user ID. Linux has the full-grown operating system. It is network-based operating system. It can does everything that other operating system can do, but it does robust than the regular Windows operating system, because Linux operating system is used in vehicle, in computer, in hospital, in like a plane, in like the big machine language. Everywhere you will see under the hood is a Linux distribution, either the Fedora or the Ubuntu or the whatever. They basically behind the scene is a Linux kernel. So this operating system is super powerful for the DevOps engineer because they use it. To learn this, it's not that complicated. It's like the 3 hours of the syntax. Basically, you are good to start the cloud ops journey, become a DevOps engineer, cloud ops engineer. But Linux is the operating system. That's the interface you'll be dealing every day. So what type of work you do, like create a folder you can. remove a folder, like go to a folder and come out from a folder, create a file, create a multiple files, open a file, make the changes on the file, delete a file, give the permission on the file, create a group, and adding the users on the group, create a user, give the access permission on the user, anything and everything, administrative purposes, Linux does for you. Means that's the reason Linux itself has a many positions. Linux admin, Red Hat admin, the DevOps engineer, they use the Linux, but they are not the Linux admin. But this is the operating system, and in the development team use. DevOps engineer use day to day, developer use it, QA use it, front-end developer use it, everybody uses Linux. It is for the hosting your application. All right, you can go back to your terminal, your way.